Since I've been with Equity Edge, made, more than 20K.
Across how many payouts is that?
Oh, that is a
So with 10K accounts, do you trade them all the same?
max risk about 2% on that account, whilst the others are.
What is the biggest psychological challenge that you've had to overcome? Literally spot on. If you want to start off with a bit of just a general introduction, like a 30-second introduction, a name, age, where you're from, how long you've been trading, when you started with Equity Edge, how much you've made from Equity Edge, just like the basics type thing.
Hi, so my name is Shariar. I'm basically known as Shaz on Discord, and I'm 29 years old, from London, and I've been trading for about 5 years now. So far, I would say ever since I've been with Equity Edge, since last year, May, so it's been about 1 year now, I've made, obviously I'm not going to mention exact figures, but I've made, just about, say over 200%, so more than 20K or so throughout the whole year so far.
Not bad. Across how many payouts is that?
Oh, that is, I believe, 91 payouts, and I should be one today as well. So
91 payouts is crazy. So how often are you requesting a withdrawal?
To be honest, it's pretty much, weekly at least, every 2 weeks, at least 2 to 3 payouts are being requested.
That's crazy. And I'm guessing you're getting them on time, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. Within 48 hours,
Amazing.
Plans, so I don't even need to worry about anything, payout rejections or anything like that, because I know I'm following rules. So obviously, if I'm following rules, I'm not giving anyone any reason, to say, oh, your payout is rejected, because, on Discord, you see a lot of people, moaning about, oh, my payout was rejected or this and that. But most of the people, not just with Equity Edge, any of the prop firm you look at, they end up blowing their account, and then they end up, blaming the rules that are there, But,
they risk 4% of their account 1 minute before NFP.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then they do 30% profit and go, right, you need to pay me out now.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to look at it from a business perspective as well for the prop firm. Do they want you as a trader long term for their firm? Hell no.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. Because you're pretty much gambling. You're risking, your whole daily drawdown just before a major news event. And what if it goes against you? You're not going to lose. Let's say I risk 3%. I'm not going to risk, the 3%. I might even, risk 4 or 5, because NFP is a killer. And that has happened to me once. Not with Equity Edge. It was another prop firm. I won't mention the names. So I think I risked about 1.5%, but ended up losing, times 2. So I lost about 3% on that trade. Now imagine someone who is risking maybe 3 or 4 just before the major news. That's going to be a killer. Not just obviously for the trader itself, but prop firm, on its own as well.
Or they'll enter before NFP with a 10 pip stop, and price will tap them out at minus 60. And they'll be like, why on earth did it tap me out at minus 60? I had a stop loss at 10 pips.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my God.
Spreads, they start blaming this when, we know whether it's with prop firm or, your own personal life with any broker, the spreads, they get nasty. So, if let's just say the spread is 1 on Euro USD during NFP, it might be, 10, 12.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, easy. So one thing actually, since I started with Equity Edge, and started doing all these interviews and stuff, I've seen every single trader has had I swear 50 plus payouts. So the way I do my payouts is I just wait until maybe once a month type thing. I won't do mine weekly. Why do you do yours weekly or after every single trade? Is there a reason for that?
Oh, because I've got multiple accounts, right? So with Equity,
Also fair.
I'm funded 10K, and I've got about 70K altogether. So each account is 10K. So what happens is I've got a profit, ratio range as well. So anywhere between 4 to 8% per account. If I'm happy, I'll stop, and especially if I know the payout. So let's just say I started trading one of my account, and I made about 5%, and I know payout date is maybe 5 days away. I will stop trading that account, move on to the next one, get the payout on this one, and before I know, the next one is due. So it basically keeps on going like that. Obviously, if I have 1 or 2 account, then I'll be looking at it every 2 weeks to a monthly thing. But because I've got too many accounts with Equity Edge, so the cycle keeps repeating on, weekly basis. Sometimes every 2 weeks, I've got 3, 4 payouts, due. So I've got one that is due for today. I mean, I already requested, so I should be receiving it today. I've got one due for tomorrow, Then I've got two due for next week as well. So yeah, it's just like that.
And do you recommend people to get multiple small accounts rather than just like one 100K account?
It depends, right? Like on how much prop firm is giving in terms of max allocation. So
Mm,
obviously, equity edge as of yet is 100K. So rather than just having one account, because the thing is, you're not gonna have good days every single day or every single week as well. So imagine I've got one account that is 100K, and I'm in a drawdown. And because obviously I'm not getting any payout coming in, in my bank, it's just gonna mess up with my psychology. So it's better to go with smaller accounts, or if you don't want to have headache of having too many accounts, have maybe 250K accounts. So you still have max allocation. If on one account you had a bad day, you're in a drawdown, you're below 50K on the next fund, on the next 50K account, you might be profitable, so there's still some sort of money coming into your bank account. So you're not hurt as a trader, because the money keeps flowing regardless if one account is in a drawdown, so it doesn't
mm.
mess up with your psychology basically.
And you said you had, was it eight 10Ks or nine?
uh I had basically about eight until I had one of the worst month ever. I dropped from about 70 to 80K all the way to 40K in funded,
Right, okay.
back up to about 70K in funded again.
So with seven 10K accounts, do you trade them all the same or do you trade every single one differently type thing? It's like
Oh,
same risk, different trades. What is it?
a majority of them are same. Just one of them I always keep it a bit high risk. So
Okay.
I'll max risk about 2% on that account, whilst the others are up to 1% per trade.
Taking the same trades or different trades?
I mean, it's same, but I don't trade all of them in one go, because
Okay.
obviously with equity edge, you can't trade, same trade on more than two accounts, so you can't copy more than two. But
Mhm.
my thing is, because a lot of people they have like copier system, so they take
Yep.
trade one, it gets copied onto all. Now
Same here.
imagine use. So imagine you lose one trade on one account that's copied onto all others. You're in drawdown in all of your
Mm,
accounts, right? And sometimes it can mess up with your psychology, because everyone's built different. Some can handle, some can't really handle it. So
yeah.
me, the way I do, so for example, if I were to trade today London, I'll focus on just one account. And if I make decent gain, New York, I'll move on to the next account. Tomorrow I'll start again. So basically it's like a cycle, right? So
Nice.
first session I focus on one account rather than having two or three accounts that you're trying to focus on. So I don't deal with the headache, because with that headache, stress comes in. With
Of
stress,
course. Yeah.
psychology gets messed up, emotions starts kicking in. You make one bad decision, it affects everything else. So I kind of focus more onto my mindset and psychology, because obviously, like I mentioned, I've been trading for about 5 years. The first 4 years were awful, because I had no mindset. My mindset wasn't in the right place. My psychology was purely messed up as well. And I was blowing account after account really, until I was like, what, I got to lock in. I know my strategy works fine. It's just, my mindset, fear of missing out, sometimes risk
Mm,
too much, sometimes the greed kicks in, So those were the things that were kind of holding me back, until obviously I came across Equity Edge. And as Equity Edge is probably one of the cheapest prop firm, you
yeah.
know, there, So I was like, what? And honestly speaking, when I started with Equity Edge, they were obviously very new. And I don't
Mm,
like trading with prop firms that are fairly new. I want, them to build
yeah.
up
Same.
and stuff like that. But I don't know what happened with Equity Edge. I was like, what? It's only $20. Let's just go ahead with it. Took a risk, and honestly, it was worth it. I think I spent about $21 on 10K account, and in about two payouts, I've made about 1,500. So you see how again from
That's a good
20.
return.
Exactly,
So how
exactly.
much have you actually? Yeah. How much have you spent on challenges to then get paid out 20 plus K?
Honestly, I have blown quite a lot of challenges with even with
That's
Equity.
fair. Even if you spent 5K on challenges though for a 20K return,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Yeah,
insane.
exactly. But yeah, I would say, my ratio might be between, 4 to 6K or 7K what I've spent on challenges.
Mm,
And obviously, like I said, because with Equity Edge, it's affordable.
mm,
So it doesn't hurt when you're spending money. And,
yeah.
not just, it's not just all about money as well. It's about the support that comes with it as well. Because, so far, every single person that I've interacted with, within Equity Edge, everyone's been lovely,
Mm,
never had any issues with the support team. Even when it comes to Burkai, Martin, Triss as well, like the
yeah.
top people in the prop firm. I'm in, constantly in touch with them as well. Sometime on my payout, Burka might ring me randomly, just to congratulate me. Same goes with Tris as well. I think Tris called me last week as well because I received the Glass Award as well for lifetime payout.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It goes to show, it's not just the lower end, support team that are, into helping the traders.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they care about their traders, to help them out and things like that.
Yeah, so let's push into your trading itself.
Yeah.
I want to ask just like what strategy you trade, who did you learn from, what pairs do you trade? Just again, like let's say a 60-second breakdown for someone who's just, let's say, new to trading type thing.
To be honest, I traded multiple strategies when I first got into it. I mean, when I got
Same.
into it, it was, following the signals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how basically I got into trading. And that did not end up well for me. And
Neither.
exactly. And then from there, I jumped onto ICT, and oh my God, I was so confused, because I mean, obviously, I know some of the traders that are profitable with ICT, but when I was learning ICT, because it's just, the guy talks too much, right? And I was just honestly so bored. Like it came to a point where, I moved on from ICT to smart money concept, just the basic support and resistance. And I would say it's been 1 year since, I realized it's not just all about strategy. It's about the mindset, the psychology and stuff like that. So ever since I've fixed all those, I've been sticking with, supply and demand with a bit of
Okay.
mixture of, SMC is involved in there as well, support resistance. So it's basically a mixture, right? So it's like I cooked up something, that works for me because it's like, some of the people that I know, ICT works for them, but when I tried it, it did not work out for me.
Hmm.
For SMC works, for some supply and demand works, right? So for the new traders, I would say, when you get into trading, if there is something you like, stick to it. There's no need to jump from, strategy to strategy. If you have learned something, try and add, your own confluences within that setup to see if you can, turn it into your own strategy that works well for you, which might not work well for others. So yeah, basically it's a mixture of SMC, supply and demand, SNR and stuff like that.
When you say like a beginner's like hopping from strategy to strategy, obviously I did the exact same, you did the exact same, we all did the exact same. Let's say going back and you were giving advice to a new trader who was doing that, how long do you think they should give each strategy before they say, no, this doesn't work for me? Should they be doing back testing, forward testing, taking trades live before they actually evaluate, okay, this strategy doesn't work type thing?
To me, I would say back testing and live testing because you see,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time when you look in back testing, there's no emotions involved whatsoever. And a lot of times, when we're back testing, we might just end up clicking a bit too much and the payout already happened and we'll be like, oh, I would have taken that trade. But realistically, would you have if it was a live market, because there's fear of missing out. You might get in too early, you get, stopped out before the trade, plays out for you. So I would say, give about, good 3 months of, back test data and then spend that same 3 months on a forward testing as well on a live market. So altogether, a 6 months of data should be there before you know whether that is working out for you or not. I mean, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, that is a bit too much, too much of a time."
I was going to say that is ideal. That is what they should do. But there ain't no way a beginner is sticking to a strategy for 3 months. Because to be honest, if I went back to the beginning, I wouldn't either. I'd give it 2 weeks probably. And my head would be like, no, this isn't working. I'm not making money. I've not made 10 grand. No, need to try something else.
Yeah,
And then obviously your psychology is weak in the beginning. So when you see other guys on social media, just passed a prop firm in a day, just made a 10K parry, you go, oh, what strategy are they trading? I need to try their strategy. Then someone else posts it and you go, oh, I need to try their strategy. But your head's all over the place.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, obviously, when it comes to backtesting, 3 months of data can be backtested in a day. That's not a problem,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're rounding out the hours. So that 3 months can be, it's down to you how long it takes you to, get that data for that 3 months. You could do it in 1 day, 2 days. So, it doesn't take long. What takes long is the forward testing, right? And, it's like, for doctor, like let's say, someone who wants to become a doctor, you don't become a doctor in 3 days or 3 weeks, 3 months, it takes good 5, 6, 7 years for you to become a doctor. It's a process. Now, if doctors are taking that long to become, a doctor, professional doctors, because there's a process, why not do the same for yourself, because trading is not just trading, it's your business that you're not just investing your money, you're investing in your time, your emotions, you're investing in so many other, aspects when it comes to trading. So you got to give time. And obviously, if after, 6 months of data, you don't have what you're looking for, then you could say, you know what, let me try another thing. Or if you want, you could test out maybe two, three multiple strategies at the same time, compare the data at the end, and see whichever works out well for you. Pick that up, start, improvising that particular strategy until, you have something that cooks well for you, really.
I love the comparison with the doctor, because I use the exact same thing. If
Yeah.
you compare, I mean, you compare trading and you compare a doctor, right? Doctor, they have to study for, I don't even know, let's say 10 years plus
Yeah.
across high school, college, uni, whatever it is, easy. Maybe even longer if they want like a PhD or whatever it is. Then you look at trading. The average, let's say I say it takes 3 to 5 years to be consistent with trading. That's fair. You can do that definitely. But then you look at the advantages of both. Doctor earn 80K a year. You can maybe up to 100K if you become, I don't know, higher up, maybe something like that.
Right.
Trading is you work from anywhere you want, no boss, your own schedule, earn infinite amount. It's infinitely scalable. Yet you're not willing to put in the same amount of work as a doctor who only earns 80K and it's fixed for the rest of the life. Make that make sense. You're trying to make trading work in a year, and if it doesn't, oh, that's it, I'll give up.
Yeah. And
The logic doesn't make sense there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you mentioned, it takes 3 to 5 years. And for me, I've been doing it for 5 years. And this is my
Same.
first year that I've been, profitable, right? And yeah, so I mean, like you mentioned as well, we can make crazy amount of money. It just depends. Like imagine what I've made on a 10K so far. If I was trading 100K, I mean, I'm sorted for life, really. Just from, 1 year of wages, I can, live off maybe at least like 3, 4 years without me even having to work. I can live a decent life, and that too being in London as well. So it all depends, how you approach trading. And like you mentioned earlier as well, I like that point. We are too obsessed with looking at other people's success,
Yep.
where we forget how hard, they have worked. So it's like, for example, say I'm struggling and I come across you and I see you, every 2 weeks you're making like 10, 15K in payouts. And I'd be like, you know what? I want to be like you. I want to pass, my challenge within a day, within 2 days or so on. But what ends up happening is you might have worked so hard to be at the stage where you can, achieve those things. I'm going to do it in a day, in a week, and so on. What ends up happening? It backfires. I might end up with, I blow a challenge. What happens? I'm going to draw down now. Now what happens is I'll buy a new challenge. I'll be like, I lost 500 in previous 100K. I'm spending another 500 on this one. I've invested 1K. I want to make my money back ASAP. Before you know, another is blown, and the cycle keeps repeating until you become realistic about your targets. Once you become realistic, honestly, I feel like even me, I was very unrealistic before. I wanted to make like 10K, 15K, this and that. I was like, you know what? I can retire my family, live the best life possible. But then it came to a point, I'm like, you know what? That is achievable, but I've got to take baby steps. It's like, a newborn baby, it's not going to start running straight away. You got to start crawling, take baby steps, start, walking a bit and so on. So there's a process in every single thing. But we as traders, we forget, why? Because we look at, so many like influencers out there that are not even making money from trading. Most of
Probably
them are,
not.
yeah, exactly. Most of them are making money from just, selling their courses. Like you might see even on Instagram, there might be a small clip and they'll be like, oh, comment down and I will send you a PDF and stuff like that. They'll send
I've
you,
made that content myself as well.
yeah. So, you get the PDF and, a lot of them are helpful, but most of them, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, sell their stuff, right? And don't get me wrong, maybe out of 10 people, two, three will be 100% legit, who are making money from both, the sources, right? From trading, from, mentoring people as well. But some people, all they do is just make money from, selling courses, and people think they're making money just from trading. That's not the case. Literally, that is.
Yeah, I kind of talking about like looking at other Instagram traders and stuff like that. I literally fall victim to this all the time. I'm not going to mention his name, but I saw someone, or another UK trader, always, it looks like he's doing well at least, and he posted like a trade breakdown, and I was like, oh my god, that looks so simple. So I had an open trading view, went and like tried backtesting it, and I was like, what am I doing right now? I'm sat here just because he's made like 10, 20K. I've then gone on TradingView and sat there, started backtesting it like I'm going to implement it into my trade. And no, what, you just get distracted and it's just all noise. And I'm like, after like 5 minutes, like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know, just because I'm having like a bad week with my trading and I see someone else doing well, it's like, right, let me quickly test their strategy to see if it actually works. And then I can maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what I was thinking. It's just like, actually, you know what? I'm gonna push that to the next point. Emotions, right?
Yeah.
Explaining trading psychology to anyone that doesn't trade, impossible. Like, it is so difficult. So I tried explaining to my girlfriend like the emotions of trading. She's like, "Oh, you've been trading 5 years and you still get emotional over a trade." It's like, it is so goddamn hard. Like, I had 3 wins yesterday, and I'm on top of the world right now. But like last month was terrible. I was feeling shit about. Don't know if I can swear. I was feeling bad about trading. If someone asked me how I was trading, I'd be like, yeah, it's going all right. Don't really know. But then as soon as you take one win, your emotions just flip instantaneously. Like, if you wake up to a TP or a stop loss, it can affect your entire mood for the rest of the day, and it's dangerous. And like, I journal every single trade. I have a insane journal with a lot of stuff, but still, after all that journaling and going over my emotions and how I've reacted to trades and everything, it still has in no way improved how I react to trades. Even though you're meant to be robotic and no emotions, it is tough, and no one talks about it. I know they say it's 80% psychology, but no one actually goes into the psychology and explains, why on earth are you crying because you hit a stop loss and now you're in a mood and you don't want to talk to people and you're having a bad day now just because you hit a stop loss? Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. And to be honest, I feel like, with time, I mean, obviously, if you're a new trader, you will have no control over your emotions whatsoever.
No.
But eventually, there comes a time where you're like, you know what, I don't even give a crap about it anymore. If I've lost, like me, I remember when I used to, and like you mentioned, the mental side of trading is really important, right? Whether you're a male trader or female trader, it doesn't matter. I mean, as a trader, you should be in touch with, other fellow traders, because only a trader can understand the other traders, pain or what they go through. Because like you mentioned, if I tell my brother, oh, look, I had a very shitty day, I'm mentally exhausted and stuff like that, they wouldn't care, like, because they don't understand how it feels, right? So like you mentioned, that side of the, trading is very hard to overcome. But me, I used to be emotional over every single trade that I've lost. And now it's like I mentioned, last month, I blew like 3 or 4 of my funded account. I didn't even care about it because I knew I'm going to end up getting those back eventually. There's no point of being upset over something that's already been done. But like you said, it's not easy. Everyone deals with it in their own ways. Some are, very like robotic type people. Some pretend to be, but they're not. And, I feel like it just comes, at the right time, really. So me, I used to be very emotional, but now it's like, I don't even care. It's like I blew my phase 2 on 100K just like last week. And in the past, I'd be very emotional because it's like, you pass stage 1, you're on stage 2. And you're very close. I think I was 2% away from passing phase 2, and had emotional breakdown. And I lost a trade, revenge traded, and it started to just go bad from there. Before I know, I ended up blowing the account, and that's part of the game. You won't always win. You'll end up blowing at challenges, regardless of how good trader you are. You will blow challenges, whether that's personal account with prop firm. You will blow. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
It just depends, how good are you with your comebacks, really, So it's just down to that, really.
What is the biggest like psychological challenge that you've had to overcome in your trading journey, beginning or recent?
To be honest, expectations. Like I mentioned. So, like, what happened was, when I got into trading, I lost shit tons of money, right? And that itself just messes up your psychology because, when you lost shit tons of money, right? Now, at the back of your mind, you're always thinking about that money that you've lost. You want to recover and then start to being profitable, right? And that is something I feel like it stops you from growing because you're too focused on the money that you've lost. You want that, you want to gain that money back. So when you're, trading with the prop firm, let's just say you're on phase one, because you lost shit tons of money, you want to make that money back. You're not gonna, follow your rules when it comes to trading. You want to pass ASAP, get to stage two, pass, get the payout, so you can feel good about it. And I feel like that is the biggest obstacle, because what's lost is lost. You cannot
Mm.
get it back. But what you can do is build towards, or build like a foundation that helps you not just get that money back, but also, build the blueprint that brings in more money, and it kind of helps you. And I would say, like, for new traders, don't get trapped into that particular obstacle. The best thing is learn, find an edge. Once you find the edge, trade with your capital, or come to obviously prop firms, trade with the prop firms, trade with the capital. And because you have an edge, you're less likely to, lose shit tons of money. You can, end up being profitable a lot quicker. Or even if you're not profitable, you won't be losing as much money from your pocket as compared to when you just jump, on to trading without having an edge.
Literally spot on. So you've absolutely crushed this, man. Usually I ask a question and they give me a single sentence for an answer, but you probably provided about 30 videos worth of content there. So
You know what? I was like those people as well. I literally respond to what's been asked. But I think what was the biggest thing for me was when I had the interview done with Mads.
yep.
So I did my interview with her, and I feel like that was the opening thing for me, where
Yeah.
I can be a lot more expressive rather than, just leaning back and just answering what's asked.
Hmm.
So yeah, and honestly, all that happened because of Equity Edge. Being profitable with them. Not just that, I've got my YouTube channel where I focus on.
Boom. Give it a
Yeah.
little shout out. What's YouTube?
Oh, so yeah, it's Shaz FX Academy basically. I mean, it's all to do with psychology based. So far, a plan is to move on a bit more like strategy.
7K subscribers.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah.